Good evening, ladies and gents. Tonight we have another scene in Living with the Darkness, Werewolf Venue. Uh, William White has spent his day doing what he said he would do. He's been following orders. He's got People got through to him a bit yesterday. He certainly he certainly made some progress. He talked to people. He was actually having an okay time. He went to the Umbra, and his deep spiritual connection that he has, obviously as a Garu, but also with his spirit heritage, meant he started to feel a bit more at home, a bit more comfortable. He had some kind of good conversations. Then a silly joke ended up in a rather terrifying, frenzy, and actually a thrall, which rather reminded him that he's hanging around with people who casually brush off mass murder and that sort of thing. So he kind of he regressed a little bit. He didn't talk. He's basically considering himself a prisoner. And he, however, has spent the day with the other Cubs training. The physical training wasn't so bad for him. He's an athlete. But he ended up in the fighting, he wasn't very good, and he rather didn't enjoy that, get the crap beaten out of him. So after that, the Cubs have returned to the cabin. They probably had a shower and such, and Will is kind of sitting on his bunk. He's probably taken one a fair bit away from the rest of where the Cubs are. He's probably kind of sitting on his own.
Jacob, for his part, been spending some more time in his wolf form, and partially to continue his training in that aspect, to come more in touch with the wolf heart of the Garou side of things, but also to keep an eye on Stoneclaw, as what happened yesterday, he realizes, was perhaps one of the worst things that can befall a Garou at any one time. But after seeing her run with the other Cubs and fight as well as she did before, seems a bit more distant. But when Jacob seems to prod at her, she seems much more cheerful and eager to mess around and play. Yeah, he's content that perhaps he was right this one time about things being better on the next day. That a good night's sleep can do wonders. And like William, who would have probably taken a shower after training, William would have been quite a bit faster than Jacob, but Jacob seems to be much more experienced in pretty much all forms of combat. He seems to be quite proficient at it. Perhaps not on the same level as Stoneclaw herself, but he definitely knows what he's doing. And after a shower and getting dressed and finding his phone, it's a bit weird being so detached from technology sometimes. It's almost a relief to have it stay connected to the human world. And just kind of puts it in his pocket and spots William on his bunk, who seems to be lounging around, maybe a bit still not trusting of his whole situation. And Jacob will just kind of walk on over.
Yeah, Will has today. He's not spoken that much to the Cubs, even though everyone's actually being really nice to him. But he's still obviously he feels like he's kind of making a point. Everyone keeps saying we're doing this for your own good, etc., etc., and he's kind of almost making the point that you still fucking kidnapped me, and he doesn't really understand, or he doesn't all believe that people are doing it for his own good. But people are being nice to him, so he will probably he will probably kind of said a few words, but yeah, he's being stubborn. But yeah, if you come over, he will look up. He doesn't appear to be doing anything, just kind of sitting. And yeah, he'll kind of nod.
Hey there. Not bad for a first day. How holding up?
Okay. It was quite nice to have something to do, keep my mind off it. I had pretty bad dreams last night. In fact, that reminds me, I need to roll my nightmare floor. I think it's just a straight willpower diff.
Yeah, no, I know it's a willpower roll, I just don't know what the diff is.
Well, unless it's diff 11, that's a pretty shithole roll.
Yeah, you are unfazed, good sir.
Yeah.
Those dreams were almost nice. Almost.
You guys do this every day?
Yeah, us cubs get put through our paces. Olaf is a harsh taskmaster. When you're a Cleith, you get a lot more freedom.
What's a Cleith?
Yeah. Right, yeah, I'm jumping ahead of things. So, there's like a ladder system, I guess you could say. It's a bit like military ranking. So right now, we're Cubs, right? We don't really have... I guess the closest equivalent would be considered children, but that's not really entirely accurate. We don't... It's the term for someone who hasn't really accepted their place as a guru yet. We don't really have a concrete spot in Guru society yet. We still have protections, but we are not considered full adults yet, and so we don't get that same level of freedom. You know, once you're a Cleith, you can basically just go out in the city all you want, which sounds quite fantastic. It's but it can get pretty nasty if you go to the wrong places. Then there's Cleith is basically like the first rank, I guess you could say. Once we're no longer Cubs with Cleith, you'll probably do a lot of your time, spending a lot of time there, kind of going out and making a name for yourself, and probably taking orders from people higher up than you. But you're actually free to do your own shit. And there's Fostan, which I guess you could be considered a veteran. The Dan Father told me that's when you start playing politics a bit more. When you're a Cleith, you're kind of running around making a name for yourself, but when you're Fostan, you already kind of have an established place in the system, so it gets a bit trickier. And there's Adrian, and now we're moving into territory where a lot of us don't reach, or it starts getting hard, because every time you want to move up one of these ranks, you basically have to complete a challenge, and it gets harder every time. Adrian, I guess you could say, like, well, the upper management, I guess, if the Fostans are considered middle management. These are like the majors. The guy's just far away enough from the battlefield, but still close enough to get shot at. Although a lot of us, well, pretty much all of us, are going to be in the thick of it anyway. But Adrian are very well respected, and they're not entirely common. And they're very powerful.
So what was that old lady last night? The one who can fly?
I'm not entirely sure, but if what I hear is correct, she runs the sept. She's in charge. Mother Larissa is an elder. She's as high as it gets. These are the heroes of the nation.
Oh.
They make, well, they're the big shots. They call the huge orders. I mean, they basically make the big decisions for the nation. They decide its direction, policy. They usually run a sept because they're that high up the food chain. And yeah, they are ridiculous in terms of their power. I mean, I never really saw what an elder could do until that. I just heard that you never want to fuck with one ever.
Yeah, fuck that. She was really scary.
I did hear her get almost that angry once. There are actually, well, someone died and she got really angry, but I've never seen her that angry before. That is new to all of us, I think.
Well, if you guys are right and it's starting to look that way, and this isn't some drug-induced hallucination, then I appear to not be making many friends.
Well, Olaf told me that it's better to make your mistakes now than later, because as a cub, you're not really responsible for anything. So the Den Father is. So Olaf, so you get to make your mistakes now. But it doesn't mean he'll get pissed off at you as well, and you don't really want to get pissed off at him. He's pretty fucking tough, as you've already figured out for yourself.
Look, everyone's being really nice to me. You guys especially. Like, I realized that I don't know what I said yesterday, but that Pokemon joke obviously didn't go down well with the Stoneclaws, I think.
Yeah, I can explain that. I mean, you see her neck, right? Where not even all the furs come back. She's covered in fucking scars.
Right.
She did not grow up a human. Some of us grew up as wolves. They're called lupus. We're called hominids. We grew up as humans in human society. I was actually there when I found her after she first changed. It was pretty obvious she'd been made to fight other animals. She's part of some sort of cockfighting ring, effectively.
That's fucked up.
Yeah. So, and of course, she's a lupus, so she doesn't know what Pokemon actually is. She's not in on the joke. And she's, well, we can turn into 10-foot tall killing machines, and she is designed to be, yeah, sorry. She's designed, I guess you could say, to be the toughest of the toughest. And that also means she's often the angriest, because that's just part of the package when you're designed to be that way. And what happened to her wasn't normal. She didn't just lose her mind like sometimes happens. Like, you know, when we first change and everything goes red. It was worse than that. I don't know too much about it, but it's called thralling, or thrall of a worm. It's really fucked up. I mean, it's one of the worst things that can happen to you. She was really fucking lucky. Mother Larissa was there, and that Kotori was there. Speaking of Kotori, he's an Afro. That's the 4th level above Adrian.
Oh.
Yeah, colonels, generals. again, heroes of the nation. I guess you could say they're the second in command of the elders. Again, they're not very common. They're very rare. You have to be an exceptional individual to reach that level of prowess.
Well, it looks like he's kind of thinking. And what if you just don't want to do any of that? What if I just want to go back to school and... Yeah. Like, you don't have to turn into the big... Well, I haven't done it yet. But no one's going to know that I'm half fucking tree or whatever it is.
No.
Like, yeah. Everyone here seems to be here because they want to be.
Yeah. Well, I did have questions about that myself when I was here. I wasn't quite as defiant, perhaps I should have been. Well, we don't turn into big giant wolfmen for no reason. We're here to fight other monsters. Really, really bad ones. It's the simplest way of putting it. It's a bit more complicated than that. We fight with something called for Worm. It's a metaphysical deity. And
Pigeon was telling me about some friggin' talking pigeon in the and he thinks for a moment the Umbra was telling me that there's a spider and a dragon that we need to watch out for.
Yes, the worm would be the dragon, I guess. Okay, so this is going to require a bit more explanation. Again, I'm not an expert on this matter, but I'll just repeat what Olaf taught me and what everyone else has been teaching me, because I picked up a few things. So, there's something called...
Before we get into it, do you want to go for a walk and we can walk and talk?
Yeah, sure thing.
It's a bit stuffy in here.
Yeah.
And yeah, will kind of get up. He's probably got some bruises, maybe a black eye, clocked by.
Maybe. You probably have been fighting in Glabro, so the wounds would have healed up pretty quickly.
No, Will hasn't changed yet. He hasn't noticed.
Okay.
So if he's been fighting people in Glabro, he probably has even worse bruises.
You regenerate in Glabro, so...
No, but he hasn't been. So
oh, he hasn't. Oh, shit, yeah. I mean, if he was refusing to change, it would probably just be inhuman, or yeah, he'd have horrible, horrible bruises.
Just hasn't been shown how yet. But yeah, he'll get up and walk and talk. Unless somebody, I don't think anyone stops him at this point. He's not going to make any effort to run away.
No.
Will actually, as he starts walking, he'll actually change the conversation. Yeah, he'll actually change the conversation. He'll say, "So, you're a policeman, right?"
Yeah.
And you said you were a policeman before you changed.
Was going to be.
No, you're not.
It's complicated. So when I first changed, well, I already told you that story. The gang I was going after died, and my supervisor died. I was in a giant pool of blood, and the hostages have ran away, and more police were arriving. So they got me to go into the Umbra, like you did yesterday, and they burned the convenience store down with a fire spirit, I think. Make it look like I disappeared, like I've been kidnapped, left a few false track marks. Of course, problem with that is a missing cop
fucked
is,
up, man.
yeah, it was a mess. But I mean,
Everyone keeps telling me that we're fighting some kind of bad monsters and dragons, but I was talking to that girl yesterday, the redhead girl, and I told her that I probably, if all this shit's true, and unfortunately it seems like it might be, then that means I killed a lot of people, and it was she more or less dismissed it. Like boys will be boys, and that's pretty messed up.
yeah, it becomes easy to trivialize when you get used to seeing it. She grew up in the nation, so she's used to hearing about people changing and a lot of people dying because either, I mean, you met Ping, right? She was lucky. She didn't kill anyone because they were on task. They got to her before any of that happened.
He'll actually pull out a kind of small hand mirror and say, "Yeah, she gave me this." That was pretty cool. Like, dude, this is really confusing. Like, some of this stuff is amazing. Like the tree thing was cool, and the Umbra was really amazing, and the shifting sideways or whatever you're calling it was really cool, and everyone's been really nice to me. But you still fucking kidnapped me, and you still clearly are a bunch of killers. And I get you're fighting monsters or something, but the people at that party were not monsters, and I killed them. And how can there be no consequences for that? Like, I don't know, you control the police or something, and you had it covered up. Fine, that doesn't make it right. Like, shouldn't we be protecting people from monsters rather than just...
No, you're right. We should be, and a lot of us do. I mean, there's a lot of political bullshit as well. I mean, I'm with you. If we could just tell humans that we existed and this is what you should expect, you should stay the fuck away from us because, like, I don't want to hurt people, that would be fucking amazing, because then none of the shit that I went through would have happened, and none of the shit that you went through would have happened. But
I mean, I get why not. I don't think society at large could deal with this sort of thing. I mean, for fuck's sake.
Oh, they're fucking terrified of us.
I didn't exactly respond well.
There's a term for what humans go through when they see us in our wolf form. It's called the delirium. It's pretty fucked up, and there's a really bad history behind it because, yeah, we've done stupid things in the fucking past that have resulted in stupid things happening today. And it's something I intend to fix.
So how long have we been around?
Since dawn of time, more or less. Probably before it.
He raises an eyebrow.
I mean, I'm not a historian, but we've been around more or less since the Earth has been around. And humans, well, I mean, there's a bit of debate as to whether they came with us or came after us. But we were there at the start of it, I know that much. This might be a question to ask Olaf, to be honest. He seems to know a bit more about this than I do. Maybe Katori.
It's pretty weird to have everything I ever knew is basically bullshit.
I mean, it's not totally bullshit. Like, science still exists. Like, you know, human culture and society. it's still there. It still exists. I mean, we're still somewhat detached from it. It's just that we had a role to play in it. We were a part of it, and yeah, I mean, we're a conspiracy, quite literally. Nobody knows we exist. There's a lot to take in.
Mm.
But yeah.
Will kind of awkwardly walks along, kicking the ground. There is apparently a wolf as well following us, but he kind of does his best to, or at least watching us from a distance. I don't think he recognizes Tegan in wolf form, but
You've seen Tegan in wolf form before, and Jacob definitely recognizes that scent because of her pure breed and because he's been around her. And to be fair, it's probably the alcohol. Hi, Tegan.
but yeah, he'll. This is all pretty new and freaky, and I don't know if I'm going to hang around the lady. Sorry, I can't remember her name.
Mother Larissa.
No, the lady that was kind of in charge when I was chained to the pole.
Oh, that's a bit of a shame. She's the den mother. You'll probably end up running into her. I mean, obviously she's a lupus, but...
Well, she said I can go. Like, we made a deal. And everyone's been really nice, and I kind of get stuff, but I'm not ready to throw my life away. Like, I want to go back to university. I want to go train. I want to go home to England and see my mother. Like, okay, cool. I understand this is the thing. Maybe I'll come around and hang out or something and learn about this stuff. But I don't want to just throw my life away because of this. If I don't have to.
I managed to pull some crazy shit. If you want to keep your life, I'd recommend talking to the Glasswalkers. They're more connected to humanity than most of us.
Somebody said about that. That black guy Double Tap. He said about he's a Glasswalker and that's a tribe.
Yes. Okay. So there are. I haven't even gotten to the fucking one thing, but okay. There are 13 tribes of us. You're a Cubs. You're not part of a tribe yet. You get to choose. Now, oftentimes, you'll come from a family that happens to be from, has a strong lineage of a certain tribe. Because I'm not sure if you noticed, but and what is William's primal urge? He just needs one.
I think one, yes. In fact, yes, he is one.
Yeah, he does have like a really distinctive scent to him. Like this is part of his pure breed that does like this strange magnetism.
So he's smelly.
Yeah, well, I mean, he smells good. He's a sort of thing. Some of us have, I guess you could say, distinct markings of that lineage. I have that. It's actually kind of part of my tribe's culture. I mean, I'm not part of that tribe yet, but I've petitioned to join them.
Well, what are you?
My lineage is out of the Silverfangs. They are
the Silverfangs.
The alphas of it.
Sounds a bit cooler than Glasswalker, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, the Glasswalkers kind of run around. They're the city wolves. They do a lot of the stuff that we really don't like to do. But Silverfangs, we're the alphas of the nation. We are traditionally its leaders.
Wait, isn't Silver... Look, I don't all know, but Silver's like silver bullets, right? Against werewolves? That's what kills you, right?
Silver's nasty.
And stuff.
Don't fuck around with Silver, really. That shit doesn't heal properly. You notice how we heal shit really quickly when we're in our different forms?
Will look down at his bruised and scraped knuckles and and say, yeah, I haven't. The only form I've been in is tree form, which
That's, well, I mean, Mother Larissa explained that to you. That's kind of special. Not many people have that. But yeah, when you're in your normal, I guess your true form, air quotes, it's like, being, if you're born a lupus, it'd be like being a normal wolf in a lot of ways. And if you were born a human, it'd be like being a normal human. You're not, you don't. Silver doesn't kill you instantly, but you don't regenerate quickly either. So it's strange. You kind of have a kind of obscure and kind of powerful advantage, but it also means if you're in a real fight, you probably are going to want to shift up because you do need to be able to heal in a big fight. And to be honest, this form isn't really. I mean, 10-foot Wolfman is probably better at fighting than Skinny Cop.
yeah. I mean, the girl, the one with the scars, she was pretty fucking huge in her human form as well.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how we. I know I'm trying to figure out how we look the way we do when we change forms. It didn't really occur to me until I saw a lupus turn into a homid, and then I'm like, wait, how do you look like that? Like, how did you figure that out? But I guess it's just as natural for them as us turning into wolves. So, whatever, I guess. But yeah, we are traditionally the leaders, but we also care quite a bit about our lineage. It's a bit of a whole traditionalism thing. So pretty much all of us have this kind of distinctive marking to us, and you'll know us when you see us because you'll smell it. And that's actually a good thing because it's kind of a wolf thing to smell it.
So what am I?
I don't know. You don't have that marking, so a lot of gurus don't. Don't worry. It doesn't mean you're shit or anything. It just means you don't have that distinctive marking. You could come from any tribe, but I can't tell it just by sniffing you.
This is too weird.
It is. I mean, I'm getting into complex shit, so. Tribes. Silver Fangs, traditionally the leaders. A lot of other tribes don't really like that. We do have our problems, every tribe does. But yeah, we've kind of led the nation since time immemorial. Then you've got the Black Furies. Our Den Mother, the one you were talking about just a couple of minutes ago, is a member of the Black Furies. All-female tribe. Tend to...
all-female tribe?
Yeah, they're Amazons, quite literally.
How do they make more?
Well, they have male kinfolk. Those are people who have the werewolf gene but don't change. So, but yeah, I guess you could say they try to stand up for women in the nation and throughout the world in general. It's pretty much their thing. I don't really know too much about them. Den Mother and Chloe are really the two Black Furies I really know about. There's a bit more to them than just the whole female warrior angle, but I don't know much about it, to be honest. I just don't know them that well. And you got the Bone Gnawers. You kind of get a bit of a harder rap. You know how I talked about the Glasswalkers were like the city tribes? The Bone Gnawers are the second one. They're the two city tribes. And the Bone Gnawers get a bit of a shit rap because they're often considered the bottom of the barrel. Mother Lyrissa is a Bone Gnawer, though, and you really shouldn't go around saying she's at the bottom of the barrel because she'll prove you wrong.
Yeah, don't worry, I absolutely do not plan on insulting anybody.
They're the most numerous tribe, and they're kind of a tribe of survivors. They live in places a lot of people won't and can't in the city, and they tend to stand up for the downtrodden, which is good. I kind of like that about them. They tend to stick together, and there's also quite a lot of them, which helps.
Huh.
Because they often get trod upon. Every tribe also has their, I guess you could say, their animal totem, their spirit totem. Silver Fangs have Falcon. I actually met Falcon. You have the Black Furries have Pegasus, and the Bone Gnawers have Rat, because
Rat?
rats can... Yes. Well...
Pegasus is a bit cooler than Rat.
Well, the rats have a swarm. There's a lot of them, and they can live in a lot of places. So there's more power to them than just the aesthetic. I mean, the Glasswalker's totem is Cockroach. But Cockroach can survive goddamn anything. So that's why the Glasswalkers and Cockroach are friends. Because Glasswalkers are adaptable. They consider themselves the new solution. They're modernists. They're the most technologically adept of the tribes. Like, they have powers associated with it way more than the rest of us. But they tend to ignore their wolf side a bit too much. They're quite human, though. And they, yeah. They're good people. But just like every other tribe, they have their problems. And you got Children of Gaia. Have you met Lucas? He's no friend
Will
of
shrugs.
well, it doesn't matter. Well, I mean, he might have met you, but you might not have met him. He's very good at sneaking around. But Children of Gaia, I guess you could say, are the mediators of the nation. They tend to they're diplomats. They're very peaceful. They don't like violence. They focus a lot of their powers on healing and protecting people rather than just pure fighting. Doesn't mean they can't do it, because they're still very good at it, like the rest of us.
They sound chill.
Yeah, the ones I've met have been very well, nice, to be honest. They're the ones least likely to be dicks, I guess you could say. And I mean, one of the ones I know is actually also trying particularly hard to actually raise lupus numbers back up. There aren't a ton of lupus left. I mean, you have a lot of humans, but not a ton of wolves, right? So he's trying to make sure that they actually don't die out. And don't bring that up around the lupus, because they'll get pissed off at you if you do. But yeah. A lot of us are trying kind of hard to make sure that doesn't happen. Some of us don't care as much. Kind of depends on who you talk to. But yeah, it's a dangerous situation for them right now. Anyway. And you got the Fianna, Tegan's tribe. Fianna. It's kind of weird, because this is going to get complicated later, but I guess you could say the Fianna are kind of like... they're the heart of the nation in a lot of ways. They feel more strongly than anyone else. They're more passionate than anyone else. They're extremely protective of their family. And they care about them a lot.
Tegan was pretty nice to me.
Yeah. They tend to be pretty lackadaisical. uh, partiers. But also, well, I mean, Tegan can tell you more about them because, and especially since she's a Gallia, the Fianna have the best galleys in the nation, from what I hear.
What's a Gilead?
I believe the term is another term for them is moon dancers. I guess you could say they're the law keepers of the
Dude,
nation, the
I'm
historians.
not trying to be rude, but this is just too much. Like,
Yeah, it's fucking.
thank you.
Let's just stick to the tribes. It's easier that way.
I
But
think
the Fianna are really good at history, I guess you could say as well. And they're the heart of the nation. They're its core, its morale. They make sure nobody's ever too upset for long. I should actually probably cover Olaf's tribe, even if this is too much, just because he's just because it will help you a lot. And to be honest, it'll help you on understanding why he is the way he is.
Elf's a pretty scary guy.
Hmm?
Elf's a pretty scary guy.
Yeah.
Nearly as scary as our rugby coach at uni. No, I'm kidding. He was. Yeah, I think he wants to be the shit out of me. I bit him while you were there.
He's dealt with runners before. I think he's kind of sick of it. No offense.
That's fine.
He's,
I mean, I bit him pretty hard, and he didn't really care. So.
I mean, he's a tough bastard. So,
Yeah.
but he's what you call a Geta Fenry. I guess you could say they're the warriors of the warriors. Of the warriors.
A
For the
Gutta
toughest.
Fenry.
Yes. As in after the North Wolf, yes, he exists.
Okay.
But yeah, their focal point is strength. They are soldiers to the last man. And that means they tend to hold everyone else to pretty high fucking standards when it comes to that regard.
I was pretty shit at fighting today. I've never really fought much.
Well, I mean, they tend to think of themselves as better fighters than everyone else, which isn't entirely unfair. They really are fucking good at what they do. But they're also going to push you to meet that standard. Probably not to the Geta Fenry level, because I don't know what they're getting engaged in, but I mean, they're pretty fucking hardcore. And Olaf wanted to go harder, he could. Which is a bit of an extreme statement to make, but yeah, that's how hardcore they are. They do not stop for anything. And they are willing to give themselves 100% for the nation in every way. So I guess it's hard to earn one's respect, I guess you could say, but if you do, you got a friend for life. And they're fucking tough. It's what they do. And that's why Olaf carries himself the way he does, because he doesn't really want to lose us as much as he might kind of imply otherwise. The reason he's so obsessed with us being strong. He shakes his hand as a Tegan wolf licks it as he goes by.
Yeah, Will doesn't know. Where he just assumes this is some random. Well, he's seen plenty of random wolves wandering about.
The reason he's obsessed with us being strong is because he thinks that's what we're going to have to be if we want to survive, and he's not entirely wrong. Because he wants us to live.
It looks like he's thinking.
As I said, they're soldiers. If there are more of them here, I can imagine them running this place like a fucking military camp. But they do care. That they do. Olaf said he's not going to coddle me, or that he was not nice like the people who picked me up. But he also told me that he would never lie to me, and that's the one thing I can count on when it comes to him. And so far, he's kept his end of the bargain. So I'll give him his due there. Want me to go on? Do you want to talk about something else?
I think this is enough for one day, man. I'm not going to remember this anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
All I know
Olaf's
is
going to tell you about it anyway.
I get it. There's different kinds.
There's a lot of us, and there's a lot of different kinds of us, and it gets broken down into like so many different fucking categories. It's going to make your head spin. Actually, in regards to figuring out one of those categories, Olaf did ask me to ask you when your birthday was.
He will say a day that corresponds with being an Arun. It will be as the full moon begins to wax. So he's a slightly, basically towards the end of a full moon's. I don't know what it is, but he'll say that, and I'll Google later and I'll find it out.
Oh no, Jacob kind of looks that up on his phone. Again, he kind of shakes his hand dry of the wolf saliva. And you kind of see him. First, he looks kind of curious and interested, and then you notice his eyes twitch slightly and his pupils dilate a little bit before returning to normal, and his skin just tightens a little bit. Huh. I did not expect that. Well, you might want to take that combat training pretty seriously from now on. I did not expect that at all.
Why? What?
You know, I was talking about the Get a Friendly of the Warriors of the Warriors of the Warriors. There's a reason I said that 3 times. Because we're all warriors. Then there's a bunch of auspices, which correspond to when we're, what moon we're born under. One of them is full moon, which is the warrior. The Warriors of the Warriors. I'm not sure whether to congratulate you or to fucking hug you, mate, because you're a warrior of a warrior. You're expected to kick my ass.
No, I don't think so.
I see Luna has many faces. I wonder which one she had when she paid you to be an Arun. It's going to be a conversation. But that's one you want to have with Olaf, not me. Because I don't know how to help you with this one, honestly. This is out of my fucking depth. Yeah. You are expected to be a warrior of a warrior, apparently. The strongest. I mean, you're fucking fast. You got that part down.
Yeah, good for running away. Look, I don't know if I'm gonna... Thanks, you're being really helpful, but I don't know if I'm gonna buy into this anyway. Don't get me wrong, it's crazy and weird that I'm a supernatural werewolf, and that my star sign on moon, whenever moon I was born under, means that I'm a thing, but I need time to think about this, and I don't want to just, like I said, I just want to just throw my life away.
Fair play to you. If you don't want to throw your life away, I would say have a talk with Ping. She helped me out because I was a fucking missing cop for like 2 months.
No, I don't think you get it. I mean, I don't want to fight monsters or spend every day running around a track and being punched by big creatures, and then I'm not sure I want any of this.
There's like a silence as Jacob kind of considers your words for a moment. I mean, some of us don't. I don't know.
More shrugs.
All I can, I guess, all I can say is warn you. Really, I mean, now you've changed. They're probably going to be looking for you. There's a reason we brought you here. It's because it's safe here.
Look, I might come back and like, I don't know, hear these things, but I don't want to live here. I don't want to. I want to do things. I want to go to parties and hang out and live my life. I don't have to accept this, so I don't want it. Unless you want to keep me a prisoner forever. No, I don't owe anything to you. People keep being angry at me for doing things or not doing things, but I don't owe you guys anything. I haven't signed up for any of this. It's not like I'm not breaking rules or I didn't choose to have them. And I get it. People think that that's in some way selfish of me, but I never wanted this. Like, even if I am that, that's fine, but that doesn't mean I have to. Yeah.
I mean, I get you. I really do. I mean, neither did I, but I stayed because I mean, we're literally fighting stuff way above anyone else's fucking pay grade. To put it in a fucking human term. I mean, if we don't fight, everyone else is fucked. Literally everyone. I
Well,
mean,
I don't know anything
someone.
about that. I'm sure me not being here is not going to make any difference.
We need everyone we can fucking get.
Look, I don't look. Yeah, I don't know. This isn't. I don't see why this has to be anything to do with me. Like, fine, I get it. There's other evil monsters, but I don't see how evil a monster could be more than the fact that I killed 40, 50 people. You know, unless you guys cover it up really well and they're killing thousands of people, then
No, we don't just go around fucking murder hoboing humanity. That's pretty fucked up.
well, I did. From what I hear from other people, they did as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and I don't. Nobody has an answer for that. Everyone just brushes it off like, "Oh well, boys will be boys," and that's messed up.
dude, I killed 3 fucking people, and I could have killed dozens of innocents. That's. I realize that's not fucking cool, okay? Jesus. I don't feel good about that. I mean, they're fucking murderers. It doesn't change anything. Like, some of us brush it off. Some of us find it easier. I don't know how they fucking do it, because sometimes I wish I was them, because it would make things a whole lot fucking easier. Like, you're not the only one who thinks that this fucking sucks. And that we wish we didn't kill people when we first changed. Because, you know, it would literally be better for fucking everyone if we didn't. Like, I don't want to do that. I still think about it. It's fucking horrible. but if I don't fucking fight, a lot of other people are gonna die. And my family's gonna die. Everyone's gonna fucking die. I mean, I've actually fought these things. They're fucked up. They possess... They fucking calcify people. And fucking freeze fucking... I can't even describe it. It's not... How do you describe what these fucking... We're fighting a fucking metaphysical being and its fucking agents. What they do doesn't make sense. But I can't let what happened to me and my loss of control stop me from doing the right thing and protecting people, because, like, it was fucking horrible what happened and it should never have happened, but at least now I've got a power that can actually do something. I can make a fucking difference with it. Like, I'm not gonna pretend I'm like some sort of fucking superhero, but I can do some good. You know that fucking Avalon company that sells fucking toys? You would actually probably know this, by the way, because it's the
Yeah,
mayor.
Will would narrow his eyes and kind of be like, yeah, I guess.
They diseased the fucking toys. We had to masquerade as a bunch of people doing a toy recall because they were giving weaponized toys to kids.
Will doesn't look like he believes you, really. Right. Yeah.
I mean, we're lucky that we got there before nothing actually fucking happened. Because, look, if these things catches a person, they're gone forever. They become an actual fucking monster. And you don't see them. Because they hide like us. And they actually hide in the fucking system. You know, we're kind of out here in the middle of a fucking park. We're kind of detached from the system.
They ever pose as police officers that help people kidnap people?
You know, normally that would have been a glasswalker. No, I didn't want to kidnap you, to be quite honest.
Whenever somebody does something bad here, they just say they didn't want to do it or they had to. It seems like a convenient excuse.
I mean, life is full of shitty options. This is one of many I've had since before I became this.
Yeah, well, my life was pretty good before I came this. And I don't want to throw that away to fight toy companies and dragons and shit. Whatever. Will's actually gonna say, man, thanks for explaining things to me, but yeah, this might be bullshit for all I know. And I think he's actually gonna leave and wander off.
Okay, well, before he goes, he'll just say, well, I'm going to fight some, so if you're going to find understanding, you're going to find it there.
I don't want to fight things.
Well, they're going to fight us, and they know what you are. You know, just because you don't want to be a part of this doesn't mean the enemies are going to say, oh yeah, no, that's cool. There were werewolves like us which joined the other side. And they often force cubs like us to do the same. They went after one of us. And we were extremely fucking lucky that we managed to
But you managed
chase
to
them
force
off.
them to do something first.
No,
Well,
we
I don't
chased
want.
them.
I don't want to debate this anymore. I don't. Yeah, I have no information to work with. I don't really know what's happening. But I'm gonna go.
Honestly,
I'm gonna go sleep
yeah.
because tomorrow I'm gonna leave, and that'll be nice. And yeah,
Jacob,
we'll wander off. He'll actually go back to the little cub hut with his bed.
and Jacob can't really bring it to bring himself to tell him he's not gonna leave.
That'll be a fun scene.
Yeah, he will text Olaf precisely what William is, that he's an Irene and that he's expecting to leave tomorrow and that he may want to have a chat with him and the Den Mother about that.
Den Mother promised me.
Den Mother is no longer best mother, Khan. She's automatically worse mother. I think with that, as he separate, on perhaps really the best terms they were actually gonna separate on, to be honest, we can end our scene. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. See you next time.